All right, we are back here in beautiful Sioux City, Iowa for the 2013 MRDA Championships on WFTDA.tv. Big matchup coming up here as we have St. Louis versus New York. If ever there was a rivalry in the MRDA, this is it. Interesting thing is the Gatekeepers have the series overall 4-1. The big one, though, was their first matchup at Spring Roll back in 2011 when they handed the New York Stock Exchange their first loss in their history. So a lot of history between these two teams, and this is going to be a wild one.
I just came up from down on the floor. You could feel the energy that's going on here. You could almost cut through the tension of the next bout that's going to come up. And you can see, when we go down to the shot here on the floor a little bit, Gatekeepers are already lined up for their first lineup out on the floor. So they're definitely ready to play this game. Gear check still taking place here. Looks like refs playing with Banana's helmet there, making sure it's a good enough fit.
So, yeah, a lot of history between these two teams. Also, you'll notice that the Gatekeepers unveiling their new black unis have been tightly under wraps tonight. Very slick-looking unis. New York in their patented white. So we're about to get underway. Rosters real quick. For the Gatekeepers, 0AD Zombie Jesus. Number 1, The Saint. Number 11, Debaucher's Prime. 24, Nat King Kill. 314, Double XL. 32, Shane Bauer. 5150, Incredible Hulk. 618, Blood Zeppelin. 66, Screech Around. 68, Batwing. 73, Kyle Stark. 82, Percy Control. 86D, Wrecking Bill. And L7, Magnum PIMP.
New York Stock Exchange, 0, Sammy Dangerfield. 10, Wolverine. 125, Malcolm Sex. 164, Carly Fu. 1B, Banana on skates. And we're going to get right into the action, so I'll come back to the roster in a minute. Magnum PIMP, number L7, jamming for the Gatekeepers. Quickly off the line, finds his way through the pack, and going to take lead jammer, first lead jam of this bout. Jonathan R, number 6 for Shock Exchange, still stuck at the back of the pack. And he does find his way through the inside line. Going to get lead jammer. So Magnum going to get through, put 5 on the board, and call off the jam.
Yeah, I got a feeling that's what you're going to see a lot of. You're not going to see a lot of long jams. You're going to see a lot of quick 4 points and call it off from both sides, because even though these teams have very good defense, the jammer level of these two teams is so outstanding that the defenses are going to have a real hard time containing them.
That is correct. It's going to be number 11, Debaucherous Prime, lined up for the Gatekeepers, and it's going to be 833F, Carnage Asada, jamming for Shock Exchange. Both jammers off the line. Debaucherous Prime looking to take the inside line, changes his mind, and now he's pushing himself through the middle. He's currently got one last blocker to face off again, but Sammy Dangerfield comes up to the front to help out. Number 47, Abe Drinkin there. Cut call on Debaucherous Prime, turns it into a power jam for the Shock Exchange, and Carnage Asada going to get lead jammer as he comes out of the pack.
So definitely not the start the Gatekeepers wanted here, with Debaucherous Prime now sitting in the notorious RED penalty box. And already the Gatekeepers in penalty trouble as they have a full penalty box. Blood Zeppelin has to go back out on the track as he can't even sit down.
Meanwhile, Carnage Asada back in for a scoring pass. 2 blockers taking up his place, and that's going to be 618 at the front there. Blood Zeppelin doing a great job holding back Carnage Asada. Taking Carnage Asada almost to the infield, but Carnage Asada able to take him out, gets all the way through, puts 5 on the board for the Shock Exchange. Currently, the Gatekeepers with a full penalty box. That definitely gives the Shock Exchange the advantage on the track as Carnage Asada back in for another scoring pass.
However, great penalty kills so far by the Gatekeepers have really minimized the damage that Carnage Asada could have put on the board. So far, he's only given up 10 points.
Debaucherous Prime Reed joining us on the track, quickly finding his way through, and now that was going to be initial pass, so both jammers now eligible to score. Carnage Asada in the pack, notices Debaucherous Prime approaching the rear pack, going to go ahead and call off, get out of that jam. We're going to be at 5-12 on the board. Shock Exchange with the early lead. And number 241, Ladies Night in the white and black for the Shock Exchange, going to face off against number 32, Shane Bauer for the Gatekeepers.
Don't forget, you can talk to us, Twitter us, send us tweets. Hashtag talk2 MRDA. That's talk 2 MRDA.
Shane Bauer on the inside decides to go for the outside and finds his way around in kind of a diagonal line, grabbing lead jammer for the Gatekeepers, and going to be looking to put the Gatekeepers up a few more points during this bout. He's already around and back into the pack for his scoring pass. Ladies Night, meanwhile, still trying to find his way out. Finally does, and is now eligible to score. And Shane Bauer's going to go ahead and call off that jam.
So do you like the action you've been seeing so far this weekend? I know the stream has been absolutely fantastic. Well, guess what? You can get all these games on DVD. You can contact info@cornstalkers.com or go to their website. That's cornstalkers.com. $10 for any single bout. Or if you like a particular team, you can get a whole team's set for $25. Or you can get every single game played here this weekend for only $50.
And that's a great deal. I mean, that's $100 savings over buying each individual game, of course. It's going to be number 6, Jonathan R. versus number 68, Batwing. Batwing through the inside line, quickly taking lead jammer for the Gatekeepers before the pack was even out of turn 1. And Jonathan R. now out of the pack as well. So Batwing, as he comes back in, takes a little slip and fall. He notices Jonathan R. approaching the pack, signals to call off the jam. Does not get it. There was a low block call, so that's going to make this a power jam for the Shock Exchange. Jonathan R. through for his first scoring pass, puts 5 on the board.
So again, the Gatekeepers in penalty trouble. Full penalty box. I'm sorry, 3 blockers on the track, so 1 jammer in the box and 1 blocker.
Nice hit there by Nat King Kill, but Jonathan R. not going to let him phase him. He's through again for another 5 points on the board. Comes in, taken to the outfield there by number 73, Stark. Has to recycle and come back in. And, of course, that's Bled Zeppelin out there with some awesome positional blocking at the front of the pack, helping out Stark. Jonathan R. through, though, puts another 5 points on the board. Pack rolling slow. We're not seeing a lot of passive offense at all here during this tournament. There have been some, but more often than not, we're seeing the blockers up in the pack helping out the jammer.
Yeah, a lot of the men's teams have adopted a style of to look like you're going to go passive, but then crash the walls at the last second, almost like a play-action pass in football.
That's it. You saw the pack stretch out there. That's because number 68, Batwing, was returning to the pack, and it is now in for his initial pass, as Jonathan R. back in for another scoring pass. Or, I'm sorry, that was his first scoring pass. 4 points on the board for Batwing. Jonathan R. being taken to the outside by Bled Zeppelin. They're going to be recycled way far back. Batwing through again, another 4 points on the board for the Gatekeepers. That's going to take us to 16-34, New York still with the lead.
Yeah, Batwing had a really good game yesterday against Puget Sound, so he's picked right back up where he left off here today.
Absolutely. We're going to see a matchup we saw earlier, L7 Magnum PIMP facing off against 833F Carnage Asada.
So Samantha Dooley out in Twitter land says, let's go Gatekeepers. So we're getting some St. Louis fans chiming in here.
And I can definitely see why, the way these guys played yesterday and the way they're coming out here today. Magnum PIMP quickly through the pack, taking lead jammer for the Gatekeepers. Carnage Asada at the front of the pack, working his way around Percy Control. Does manage to get past Percy and now eligible to score. So as Magnum PIMP comes into the pack to score, you see him take a hit. He's falling over and signaling to call off the jam. He did manage to pick up
looks like 3.
3 of the points for that pass before. That was pretty excellent, as you see him kind of falling sideways.
Great toe drag,
hands on the
yeah.
hip.
He drug his toes along that inside line.
And it's going to be number 11, Debaucherous Prime for the Gatekeepers, facing off against number 241, Ladies Night for the Shock Exchange.
The first, the best, happy to fix the rest. SinCitySkates.com, proud sponsor of this tournament.
Both jammers jump off the Ringster jam line and get into the action, trapped up in a wall of confusion. It's like every blocker blocking both jammers. It doesn't matter what team you're on there for a second. Now we're split up a little bit. It looks like a multiplayer block being called on Zombie Jesus there. So he's going to go sit in the penalty box. Also, Abe Drinkin headed off to the penalty box.
I'll tell you what, Zombie Jesus was in a lot of penalty trouble in the earlier bout yesterday against Puget Sound, so we'll have to watch him. I know he was sitting on 6 as the game came to an end.
Absolutely. Ladies Night finally found his way out of that pack. It'd been a while for the jammers, both stuck in there, but Ladies Night now back into the pack for a scoring pass. Also, Debaucherous Prime out and eligible to score. Ladies Night knows this, going to go ahead and call it off after he gets through, puts all 4 on the board for the Shock Exchange.
So we're sitting at 38 for New York, 19 for St. Louis, as we sit at the 21-15 mark here in the first half. The Skateful Dead out in Twitterland wants us to know lots of our team are watching and listening. We're in Halifax, UK, so big shout out to Halifax, UK.
I wonder what time it is in the UK right now.
I have no idea.
It's got to be really either really late or really early.
I can barely do American time zones. You get across the ocean, it's all bets are off.
I'm with you there. Up at the front of the pack, Jonathan R. facing off against Percy Control, clears his way through. Lead jammer going to Jonathan R. Right behind him, number 32, Shane Bauer, is out of the pack and chasing him down, looking to keep the Shock Exchange from putting too many more points on the board there.
Shane Bauer very fast. You can see he's closing that gap. He's going to try to force Jonathan R. to call his jam off.
This pack is racing, too. You've got number 5150, Inquadable Hulk, at the front of the pack there. Just look, almost driving a pace line in the pack there. And it looks like Percy Control going to be called off for destruction.
Yeah.
Going to the penalty box, going to take a seat. The jammers almost making it into the pack there. Jonathan R. into the pack and a signal to call it off. Let's see if anybody picks up any points. I see a couple of fingers in the air, but at the direction of them, I can't tell how many.
Looks
for sure.
like
there we
2.
Go. It is 2 points awarded to the Shock Exchange during that last pass.
So far, New York kind of controlling the pace and the tempo of this bout, getting far more lead jammers than the gatekeepers. However, the gatekeepers, when they do get lead jam, have been getting some points. So. Yeah. Interesting nip and tuck battle we're seeing here so far. Now we're going to have our first official timeout.
I see the head ref heading over to the penalty box, doing some discussion with the penalty box manager, probably just squaring away the penalty box.
5-on-5 magazine, they cover WIFTA, Junior Derby, coaching, rookie help, gear, art and media, international derby. They cover it all. 5-on-5 magazine.
All right, you see a little zebra huddle happening in the infield there. Magnum, PIMP, having a discussion with the ref, maybe questioning that destruction call for Percy Control, as Percy's the only person in the notorious RD penalty box at this point in time. That would be my best guess.
Yeah, I would say it's a zeal or a dazzle of zebras. As we found out yesterday, that is what a herd of zebras is called, a zeal or a dazzle. Now, I think dazzle is very fitting for roller derby zebras.
Absolutely, although I think if we're going to call it a dazzle, it needs to have rainbows and sparkly stuff too.
Well, there is a rainbow sprite.
There is a rainbow sprite who is reffing today, so that works.
Yeah.
Just needs some glitter.
Yes. Which I'm sure there's somewhere here. It's Derby.
It is Derby. I'm pretty sure there's some here somewhere.
Like, big shout out to the Pro Design Pads. They're the official sponsor of the announcer tables, both the in-house and stream calls. We appreciate their support. You need custom pads. You actually take your measurements, send them to them, and then they send you custom fit pads. I hear they're amazing.
There's a shot of our house announcers doing a great job. That's going to be Devil's Reject, Wilhelm Scream, and Miscommunication. So shout out to the three of you.
That's from right to left, by the way.
Thank you for.
There's our sound guy.
There's
our in-house music guy on the phone, and there's someone that's grumpy. Oh, there's Mistrial, MRDA head ref.
The thing is, none of these people know that they're on camera.
Yes, that's the best thing. There's a camera guy. Hey, camera guy. He's been taking photos all weekend. Hey, there's our head ref for EMTs, Bambi Lance. How fitting.
And that's where we all sit and eat our refreshments at the back
So
there.
you're kind of getting the behind-the-scenes tour here on WFTDA.tv here at the 2013 MRDA Championships.
Let me tell you about these people, though. You know, every one of the people
Yes.
that you see on this camera right now, other than the guy with the jammer star there, they are volunteers that have shown up to help this whole thing happen for you. There are so many people here volunteering this weekend, so big thanks to all the skating officials, non-skating officials, and other volunteers that make this happen.
Also, big thanks to Turn 2 Skate Shop. All the action is in Turn 2. Turn2skateshop.com. Get all of your gear from Turn 2 Skate Shop.
So based on your earlier stats, Hammer, I'm looking at the board and I'm thinking maybe Shock Exchange is out to change things up a little bit. Shock Exchange ready for a win against the Gatekeepers.
They have been playing tough. There's no doubt about it. And like I said, all of these games, I mean, even though they did win just recently earlier or late last year, or I'm sorry, earlier this year by a score of by a margin of 89 points. Sorry, I'm stumbling here a little bit. That was a very tight game up until, say, the last 10 minutes or so when the Gatekeepers got, things started to get a little bit out of hand penalty-wise for New York, and the Gatekeepers were able to really extend that lead there in the last 10 minutes of the game. Otherwise, it was a very close game all about, and that was in St. Louis. So here on neutral turf, who knows? Anything goes.
And we're definitely going to find out as soon as we get back into the action. Looks like this official timeout continues. You know, it's staying an official timeout. I'm not seeing that it's an official review. So maybe we'll get some clarification from our announcer ref once the huddle has ended there. There's a shot of the penalty board. You can kind of see where we stand penalty-wise. Gatekeepers giving up more penalties with just a brief glance at the ringster steads there than the Shock Exchange. Score kind of speaks to that as well.
So, skaters out there in WIFTA TV land, do you put your skates in your bag with all your musty pads and moist gear? That's not good. Ugh. When you take your skates out and then your bearings are rusted shut, don't do that. Get a bruised skate noose, the over-the-shoulder roller skate holder. Let those skates breathe. They need to breathe. They need oxygen, so they'll go fast.
I can see the guys are ready to go out there on the track. They're like,
yeah, they're getting antsy.
Can we get back into this? I'm going to have to warm up again.
Yeah, this is actually really bad for the players because they cool down. There's a reason they do that warm-up. So we'll see if these guys come off the line a little cold here. Gatekeepers kind of switching things up a little bit, putting Screech around out there on the ringster jammer line against Carnage Asada.
I just heard the game on whistle, so we're going to get back to it, but I see the head ref again heading out to the penalty box. Oh, it looks like I may have been right. Percy Control has been called from the penalty box. He's returning to the bench, so I'm wondering if perhaps they reviewed that destruction call and overturned it.
That does appear to be the case. Screech around was a nice change of pace jammer for the Gatekeepers yesterday in a Puget Sound bout. Really effective against that tough, physical Puget Sound defense. We'll see how he does here against an equally physical New York squad. So evidently we're not done yet with the timeout.
Still some discussion happening out there. I see Abe Drinkin and the bench coaches in the infield for New York Shock Exchange having a little discussion. They're headed back to the bench now. So maybe we're going to get started here again shortly.
And we'll see.
And it looks like with that overturned penalty, we're going to be 3-on-3 in the pack. So it's going to be even power as we go in. Nobody standing up in the notorious RED penalty box yet. So
Cosmic from Twitterland sends us a message. I'm terrible at taking sides, so I'm just going to say that the GK and New York Shock Exchange both have great uniforms. So we're getting some style advice here from the Twitterverse. We love it. Maybe next we'll get some interior design tips for that rock wall in the background.
I'm going to go ahead and say that both uniforms are quite slimming, too.
Yes. Very true.
It's the little stripe of color down the side,
Yeah, except for on Excel. Nothing slims Excel. There is a reason his name is Double XL. Wicked Skatewear. Get all your gear at Wicked Skatewear. Lots of teams use their uniforms.
All right, and we're off. It looks like a screech around. Try to take the inside line, gets taken out. Banana gonna take him all the way back as Carnage Asada tries to work his way through the front side of the pack, managing to keep his skate on that outside line. He takes a hit from Bled Zeppelin, goes down and gets swallowed back up into the pack. Carnage Asada now all the way back at the back of the pack. Number 66, screech around at the front of the pack there, makes his way around Abe Drinkin and out of the pack. Not gonna be lead. Lead jammer did go to Carnage Asada before he got swallowed back up.
However, he scored no points. And it looks like Kyle Stark's on his way to the penalty box. Or he's just taking a leisurely stroll around the track, one of the two.
He's slowing down as he approaches the bench. So I'm thinking he's just going to sit down.
You know, it's a Sunday stroll.
That's it. We got some Sunday drivers in Derby even. Number L7, Magnum PIMP, up on the jam line for the Gatekeepers. Ladies night number 241 for the Shock Exchange. Magnum PIMP at the front there, trying to drive his way through the middle of that wall. But ladies night, while the confusion is going on there, is going to steal around the outside and steal that lead jammer status. Magnum PIMP finds his way out, finally and eligible to score. Ladies night coming back in for a scoring pass. Coming up against Percy Control and the Saint. Taken into the infield by the Saint there and going to call off the jam. Does manage to pick up 2 points during that pass, further increasing the Shock Exchange's lead.
Very timely call off there by Ladies Night, not allowing Magnum PIMP to hit the pack to score any points. He does that a lot.
We're going to set it right back up. Jonathan R., number 6 for the Shock Exchange. Number 11, Debaucherous Prime for the Gatekeepers. Debaucherous Prime to the outside. Abe Drinkin looking to take him out. Slows him down just enough that Jonathan R. can get out of the pack first and take lead jammer, but they are neck and neck. Jonathan R. looking to try to catch up to that pack, but that pack is moving very fast. The Gatekeepers currently with the pack at the front, going to keep driving it forward. That jam is going to come to an end, John.
Well, I'll tell you what, so far today I'm wondering if this is a derby bout or a speed meet. I mean, these guys have just been racing every time one of these situations comes up.
You know, and it's good blocker awareness going on in the pack there to look and see, hey, they got the lead jammer. Let's take the front and keep this pack fast.
St. Chuck's Derby chicks out there in Twitterland want to send their Derby love to the Gatekeepers. They practice with us a lot.
And we're off again. Carnage Asada currently at the head of the pack there, but trapped up in that Gatekeeper wall at the front of the pack. So it's going to be Shane Bauer now taking over the front. Looking to get past that last New York Shock Exchange blocker, that's Sammy Dangerfield, and he does. Takes lead jammer for the Gatekeepers.
Very big wall out there by the Gatekeepers right now. Double XL, Wrecking Bill, the Saint, and Percy Control. That's a whole lot of man meat.
Lots and lots of hits happening in there. Carnage Asada still stuck at the back of the pack and coming through for his first scoring pass. 4 points awarded to Shane Bauer. Looked like a no pass, no penalty. So that's why the 5th point wasn't awarded, even though the jammer was still in the pack.
So now New York's starting to get into some penalty trouble as they've got blockers going off left and right.
It's a T-stop tornado headed the penalty box for a clockwise block as Shane Bauer goes in through and makes another 5 points for the Gatekeepers. Gatekeepers looking to close up that score gap, and Shane Bauer may be the one to do it for them. Good, excellent job here by the Gatekeepers blockers, holding back the Shock Exchange jammer Carnage Asada there. You see Double XL took him out, and Double XL just delivering some massive hits out there on the track.
I think Double XL's having some wardrobe problems too.
There was a little confusion there. Percy Control went to leave the track thinking he had a penalty, but it was actually awarded to number 86. That's Wrecking Bill headed off to the penalty box. That jam is going to come to an end.
So Double XL picks up a forearm call there at the end of that play. So him and Bill are going to take a seat. So now the penalty box is very big.
That's the notorious RED penalty box, where you know you can smell clean even if you skate dirty. Notorious gear deodorant by Notorious
I'll tell you
RED.
what, at no point this weekend has that penalty box been more notorious than it is right now.
You know, the Gatekeepers able to make some good headway. There are only 10 points separating these teams as we get into this next jam. And it's Magnum PIMP at the front of the pack. He's quickly out of there, takes lead jammer, and inside the pack, currently Ladies Night trying to get out of there. Bled Zeppelin holding him up. He does make his way through, but Magnum PIMP already back to the pack and in. Going to call off the jam. Puts 4 points on the board. Gatekeepers continuing to close that gap.
This is standard Gatekeepers MO. They don't panic. They know they're down a little. They're just going to go out there. They're going to chip away at that lead, wait for the other team to make a mistake, and then they will pounce.
And now with only 6 points, it's basically 2 passes through the pack, separating these two teams. Batwing number 68 up on the line for the Gatekeepers. Going to see if he can't do that. Jonathan R. going to try to stop him from doing that.
What? They went to the pivot line. What is that thing?
You don't often see that these days in either men's or women's derby. Jonathan R. finds his way out of the pack quickly, takes lead jammer for the Gatekeepers. Chasing him down, Batwing is probably about, looking at the lines on the floor, I'm going to guess 10, 15 feet behind him. Looks like Jonathan R. going to try to hit that pack and put some points on the board.
And again, it's a race.
That pack is moving fast. The Gatekeepers controlling the front of the pack. Jonathan R. going to call it. Did he call it soon enough? Yes, he did. 0-0 on those scoring passes for both jammers.
So a nice fifth gear there by Batwing as he really turned on the afterburners there at the last minute to force Jonathan R. to call that off just early enough that neither side could get points.
And it's going to be number 1B, Banana on skates for the Shock Exchange, and number 11, Debaucherous Prime for the Gatekeepers, and it's Diet Pack.
Diet Pack,
2 on 2 in the pack.
Yes, I like that. It's like a Red Bull 4-pack.
That's it. The Gatekeepers about to gain 2 blockers. Here they come back into play. Shock Exchange gaining 1. Still 1 person in that notorious RED penalty box.
Not just 2 blockers, 2 big blockers in the form of Double XL and Wrecking Bill.
Debaucherous Prime finds his way through, takes lead jammer for the Gatekeepers. Banana having a struggle now that Wrecking Bill and Double XL controlling the front of that pack there, holding him back. He's out and eligible to score now. Debaucherous Prime finds the inside line and as his blockers clear that for him and gains all those points.
That was a really great work by the Gatekeepers defense as they dropped back and sealed those defenders to the outside to give Debaucherous Prime that inside line to grab those 4 points.
And look at this, ladies and gentlemen, we're down to a 2-point spread with 11 minutes, 30 seconds remaining in this half of the bout.
And speaking of ladies, it's ladies' night out there on the Ringster Jammer line going up against Shane Bauer.
Shane Bauer quickly off the line into the front of the pack, gets held up by number 77 from the Shock Exchange. That's Buster Cheaton. Doesn't let it phase him too much, finds his way quickly out of the front of the pack there. Lead jammer going to the Gatekeepers. Ladies' night out, so can stop the points from being picked up too devastatingly, but this may be where we see a lead change as coming back into the pack. Shane Bauer just got to get around Buster Cheaton for that 4th point. Did it happen?
Shane Bauer with such good awareness, knowing where the other jammer is, even when they're all the way across the other side of the track, knew just when to call that jam off.
Absolutely. 3 points picked up during that pass, so guess what? We've got a 1-point game right now.
I know it may be early out there, but it's never too early to drink. That's a drink there for a lead change.
You can drink your coffee or orange juice if you want.
Yeah, I'm drinking tea.
And we're off again. Magnum PIMP facing off against Jonathan R. Magnum taking Jonathan R. to the outfield, going to recycle him back and then get started on that initial pass again. Magnum PIMP being taken to the infield. Abe Drinkin hitting him in there. Abe Drinkin being hit out, so Magnum able to come back on the track without recycling all the way back. Lots of fighting going on in this pack right now. Jonathan R. finally finds his way clear and gains lead jammer for the Shock Exchange.
And here we go again. Magnum PIMP also out, so here comes the race.
That's it. Gatekeepers controlling the front of that pack. I imagine we're going to see him speed up. Actually, it looks like Jonathan R. able to catch that pack quickly. He's up and in and ready to score. Stays in after a hit from Bled Zeppelin. Going to call off the jam. Good awareness again. 3 more points on the board for the Shock Exchange.
So now another lead change. 45-43 in favor of the Shock Exchange with 9:15 to go here in the first half on WFTDA.tv.
And I'm seeing a completely empty Notorious RED penalty box, so we've got a 5-on-5 on the line.
Oh, that won't last. Knowing these teams as well as I do, I know this will not last.
That's it. It's going to be Debaucherous Prime and Carnage Asada jamming for us right off the Ringster jam line. Both jammers quickly looking to find a hole. Neither's done it yet. Debaucherous Prime laying on that Shock Exchange. A couple of blockers there that were holding him back. Lead jammer going to Carnage Asada, and it looks like it's going to turn us into a power jam elbows for Debaucherous Prime, and he's going to be joined in the box by Inquadable Hulk.
So we kind of had a power jam flip-flop here as both jammers were called for penalties.
The Saint taking out Carnage Asada, but he goes to the outfield too, so no pass, no penalty issued on Carnage Asada. Both jammers neck and neck, neither is lead. It almost looks like the jammer refs are trying to fly away on us.
Yes. Fly, fly away, oh lordy, fly, fly away.
Both jammers into the pack. Now it's really going to be up to the blockers this time as to how many points get put on the board for each team. You got to get your good blocking skills in play when both jammers are out there. Neither one is lead. Some definitely big hits. He had jammer helmet cover falling off on Debaucherous Prime, but he puts it right back on, picks up his 4 points, and he's on his way. Meanwhile, the Gatekeeper's defense doing a really good job holding up Carnage Asada.
Well, the important thing about that whole situation was that he did have the panty on when he passed the players. He didn't have it off until after he'd passed the players. So he did receive all 4 points for that pass.
Debaucherous Prime at the back of the pack there was the first to come back for the next scoring pass. Ended up getting trapped in there. Looks like I see the white jammer ref signaling a back block, so this just turned back into a power jam for the Gatekeepers, who currently, based on what I'm seeing on the scoreboard, 2 points behind. Let's see if any more get awarded. 0-0 on the last pass, so it looks like we're going to sit at a 2-point game. Shock Exchange with a very minimal lead.
Not only are the Gatekeepers going to be a power jam here with Screech Round out there on the Ringster jammer line, but New York also has 2 blockers in the box, so it's going to be a 4-on-2 pack advantage along with the power jam here for the Gatekeepers. And now we're going to see them switch it up, and Magnum PIMP is going to take the line instead of Screech.
And Magnum PIMP quickly clearing that 2-wall and taking a lead jammer for the Gatekeepers. And I believe we're probably going to see a lead change happen here, but Abe Drinkin and Malcolm Sex don't want to let that happen. Abe Drinkin trying to drive Magnum PIMP to the outfield. PIMP wanted to double check. He looks and makes sure what's going on. Yep. Did he go out 2 or did he not?
He did get all 5.
He got all 5 points and is able to get right back on the track and go.
This is the worst possible situation that New York could have found themselves in. Not only jammer down, but down in the pack. And Magnum PIMP is the kind of guy, you give him any space at all, he is going to make you pay.
Nice hit by Malcolm Sex there, taking Magnum PIMP out. PIMP not sure if he was gonna if he was out or in the blocker wise, so he wasn't sure if he wanted to give a call or get back up and get in.
Yeah,
he decides to call it off.
Yeah, I think he was waiting a couple seconds to see if he was going to get that low block call. He felt he was low blocked there by Malcolm Sex.
No call happening. Good job calling off the jam when he did, though. It's going to give a power start for Screech Around, who's up on the jam line. You see Carnage Asada standing up in the penalty box, and power start can mean the difference in getting that lead jammer.
However, the pack's now even as Cal Stark takes a seat in the penalty box.
Gatekeepers defense stretching all the way back so they can bring Carnage Asada as far back as possible. Percy Control taking Carnage Asada out at the back of the pack as lead jammer, going to Screech Around.
I'll tell you what, Percy Control so far this game has been lights out at the back of that pack.
And just basically walking through the pack. 5 points go on the board for Screech Around.
So a big momentum shift here on these last two jams here.
We've definitely seen the Gatekeepers step it up. Gatekeepers increasing their lead, and Screech Around back into the pack, going to call off the jam. No points for the Shock Exchange. No points for the Gatekeepers during that last pass.
However, the Gatekeepers are now up by 18 with just over 4 minutes to go here in the first half. They lead 67-49.
Shane Bauer going to face off against Jonathan R. We've seen this matchup before already in this game. And we're off. You see the Gatekeepers blockers going in, taking that inside line, trying to clear it out for Shane Bauer. Shock Exchange reacts quickly and goes ahead and fills in that hole. That's Malcolm Sex and Abe Drinkin again at the front of the pack. But Shane Bauer able to clear that, takes lead jammer for the Gatekeepers.
Oh, nice move by the Saint, dropping all the way back, forcing Jonathan R. way back. And that's going to be a pass point, a jammer pass point there for Shane Bauer, no matter how this pass goes.
That's it. Abe Drinkin able to take out Shane Bauer, so they're going to recycle him back again. And Abe Drinkin watching for him, keeping him at the back of the pack. He makes his way around Abe Drinkin, but then it looks like Ronnie Mako able to take him out.
4 points, 4 big points there for the Gatekeepers as they start to push, extend this lead just a little bit here in the waning moments of the first half.
That's it. We're down to 2:48 on the clock. 71-49. St. Louis definitely making a comeback here later in this half. Let's see if they can keep driving that forward. They put number 68 Batwing out. We haven't seen him jam for a bit here. He's going to face off against Ladies Night number 241 for the Shock Exchange.
Yeah, not a good situation for him though right now as they are down 4-2 in the pack. Although Magnum, PIMP, and Percy Control are out there blocking.
Not going to hold up Ladies Night. He is through and lead jammer. So Magnum, PIMP, and Percy Control switch around, trying to help out their jammer with that three wall of Shock Exchange. As off to the penalty box, number 164, Carl LeFou goes sits down in. Shock Exchange losing another jammer as well.
Oh, big hit by Percy Control. They're going to give him an elbow.
Percy into the penalty box, almost takes out the penalty box manager there.
It looks like Wolverine is still down from that hit from Percy.
Jam is going to come to an end, called for injury, it looks like.
It looked like he took that right on the chin. That may have rattled his brain a little bit there.
This is a great time to take a second and say thank you very much to the EMT staff who are here making sure our skaters stay safe.
Last I checked, this is not gladiatorial Rome here. They will survive these bouts.
I don't know. Some of these bouts here of late, some of these hits might be turning into gladiatorial Rome.
Very true. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? All right, enough of that. 5-on-5 Magazine, WIFTA, Junior Derby, Coaching, Rookie Help, Gear, Art and Media, International Derby. They cover it all. That's 5-on-5 Magazine. Pro Design Pads, official sponsor of the announcers tables. Get your custom pads from Pro Design Pads. You actually take your measurements, send them to them, and they send you custom-made pads. They're really sweet. I really, in these situations, I really wish we had some sort of medical sponsor that we could go to. I mean, I'd go Bruce Skate Noose, but I think that would send the wrong message. The first, the best, happy to fix the rest. SinCitySkates.com as you see Wolverine get up and leave on his own power. That's good to see.
That is always a good thing to see.
He will need to set out 3 jams, though, as that jam was called off due to injury, player injury. He was unable to get himself off the track.
I see Magnum having some discussion with some refs on the track still. You can actually see that in this shot here. Mm-hmm. It looks like he's talking with Short Fuse there and Ogre, the head ref. Not sure what they're discussing at this point in time. Possibly because of that hit, they just want to make sure there's no concern about Percy Control having any issues and just having to serve his penalty. I imagine.
Well, Magnum PIMP also a former ref, so he knows. He's probably out there talking to him, saying, "Hey, watch this, watch that," trying to get in their ear a little bit, see if he can't get some calls go his way. That's a typical tactic by pretty much every team out there. Is they will go out there and say, "Hey, I'm not saying that you missed it, but can you watch for this because so-and-so's doing it?" Just to kind of put it in the forefront, see if they can get a ref to keep an eye on them.
Absolutely. Now we're no longer in an injury timeout. We're in an official timeout. I see the dazzle of zebras happening right now. I see the shoulder checking out on the pivot start line there.
Well, we've already seen one ejection this morning on Twinkle Toes, so they may be discussing whether or not they thought that was a flagrant foul.
And I'm wondering if that wasn't why Magnum was back with the head ref having that little discussion, because there may be some concern about that being an egregious hit. So.
Yeah, the referee's definitely shown that they are not shy. They will upgrade penalties to gross misconducts, as we've already seen during the Your Mom versus Mass Maelstrom bout earlier. I mean, that's exactly why the referees are there. They're there to keep the players safe, make sure the game goes cleanly and smoothly, and that everyone plays by the same rules.
Got a couple shots of the audience going on there. You can see even this early in, everybody's here. It's definitely been some exciting gameplay already this morning from our earlier game.
There's Downer from Deep Valley Belligerents. You can always tell that mustache. What an amazing mustache.
It is an amazing mustache.
There's Tim Chilla from the TC Terrors there in the red jumper. Egon in his hair with the sunglasses and the powder blue shirt.
He's currently writing a sign, so you're not going to be able to see what it says.
Well, we got another sign up there. What's Powder saying?
Oh, nice. He turned around just as the camera pans to him.
This is your moment to shine, Powder, and you're blowing it.
We're going to go back to the track. I see people lining up there. I see the head ref touching base with Shock Exchange, now touching base with the gatekeeper's bench.
Oh, the Skateful Dead have responded to our talk earlier about what time it is. Says it's 4:30 in the afternoon in the UK, so they're getting an early Sunday afternoon, whereas us Americans would be watching American football. They're out there watching roller derby.
Actually, this American, no matter when it's on, will be watching roller derby over
fair
football.
Enough, yeah, fair enough.
I would much rather watch roller derby over football, but I get it. Sunday is football day in America.
And Elton John says Saturday night's all right for fighting.
There we go. Jonathan R., give me a thumbs up.
Oh, yes. Jonathan R.'s patented thumbs up. You will see that from him a lot throughout this game. So right now the gatekeepers with only one blocker on the track. However, that blocker is Magnum PIMP, who's eating Jonathan R. up right now, and now we see a multiplayer call.
That's it. And coming out of the front of the pack, Debaucherous Prime grabs lead jammer, but I see the outside signal, the inside. Yes, forearm call. So don't think, lead jammer not going to stand. Jonathan R. gets it. He calls it off. I don't think he was aware that Debaucherous Prime went to the penalty box. So you could see him. He's like, oops, I don't think I meant to do that.
So instead of a thumbs up, you get a hands up going, what?
This is when Egon's sign, if he ever finishes it, will make more sense.
Probably, yeah.
Because from where I'm standing, I can see it says WTF is going on.
WFTDA.
And we're off. Jonathan R. back up on the jam line for this power jam. Maybe he just wanted to start fresh, folks. He's quickly out of the pack, grabs lead jammer, and now into his scoring pass as we have a 2-on-2 in the pack. So equal power in the pack. But the gatekeeper is going to get back Bled Zeppelin here. So let's see if he can hold up that the jammer for Shock Exchange.
Very interesting tactic here, leaving Magnum PIMP out there to block. Normal part of their jammer rotation.
Bled Zeppelin way up front there gets that out-of-play call. That's going to be 5 points on the board for the Shock Exchange.
The crowd letting that outside pack ref have it. They did not like that that stop block call.
Jonathan R. back in. It's a three-wall of gatekeepers. He is fighting hard to get through, and that's the last line of defense. Magnum PIMP going to have to let him go. He's through. That's going to be another 5 points on the board. For the Shock Exchange, this score is going to get closer together, ladies and gentlemen. Period clock ran out, so when this jam comes to an end, we're probably going to go to the halftime. Debaucherous Prime back on the track. He's through for his initial pass. Not going to be lead, but eligible to score now. Jonathan R. into the pack, aware that Prime is right there, going to put 3 on the board, call off the jam. But it looks like Debaucherous Prime able to get in there and put 2 on the board for the Gatekeepers.
Yeah, so we're going to have ourselves a 8-point lead here still for the Gatekeepers, as now coaches for both the Gatekeepers and New York are out at the center track.
So again, we come to a halftime where there's a question of whether or not we may end up with another jam before we go to halftime.
You know, you're going to see that a lot in these teams, you know, these 1 and 2s versus 2s and 3s. You're going to see that a lot as every single point becomes so important that the coaches and the captains are going to run out there every chance they have and argue for that 1 point.
Exactly, and the way we've seen this game go for both teams, and knowing the rivalry, and knowing the history here, and knowing that New York is looking for, to pull out the win. Both teams want it. This is for the championship game. They move on to be able to face off against your mom later on today, and take home that wonderfully big trophy over there.
Yes.
That I am in much envy of. I'm like, too bad announcers don't qualify for trophies.
We have our own trophies. It's the mic we hold.
I see the ref conference going, but I do see that we've already got Portland and Puget Sound warming up on the track. So I think we're going to go ahead and go to the half. So you're watching WFTDA.tv. You're watching the 2013 MRDA Championship outside Bangers and Smash. This is Star Spangled Hammer. We'll be back in just a little bit.
We're here in the helmet laboratories today testing some helmets. We're testing soft foam helmets versus hard foam helmets. We have the Lifer hard foam CPSC certified on the head form now. We're going to drop it from the drop tower and we're going to measure the G-force of the impact. We're going to take this helmet up 2 meters for its drop. In order to pass this test, this helmet must reduce the energy pulse to under 300 Gs. Hit 186.75 Gs. That's a pass. We've got a soft foam helmet on the head form now. We're going to bring it up to the same distance we did the hard foam helmet and see what happens. As you can see, the soft foam helmet that was dropped from the same distance as the hard foam helmet registered an 827 peak G. The hard foam helmet registered a 186. 300 Gs passes the CPSC certified test. This helmet fails.
The Dish, and this is Ivana Spankin, and we're here to tell you about Sin City Skates. Sin City Skates began in our Las Vegas living room in 2005, the first shop ever dedicated to roller derby, and has since grown into this 2,000 square foot mecca in San Diego, where we stock everything for our sport. Need help? With a combined on-track experience of over 24 years and still playing, we test everything we sell, and we're happy to share that experience and knowledge with you. So contact us, sincityskates.com.
Texas Roll'em.
That goes to you.
They told us to just sell skates online. You won't have any overhead. Put some skulls in your advertising. You'll make a mint. That was never our plan. Our plan was to make a store where all day we are fitting skaters, fixing skates, teaching customers, and putting the best gear on their bodies. Before we put 3 W's in front of our name, we made sure we had hundreds of happy customers come through our doors. We're not just Derby owned, we're Derby dedicated. Fast Girl Skates.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. I am Star Spangled Hammer.
I'm Bangers and Smash.
and you're watching the 2013 MRDA Championships here on WFTDA.tv. So a very interesting first half. What do you got for us?
A great first half early on. New York Stock Exchange coming out, taking that early lead. Looked like they were going to run away with it for a little bit there, but St. Louis Gatekeepers getting their head into the game, made a quick comeback, turned it around, and now have a very minor lead because they've been switching back and forth here, these power jams, over the last little bit of that first period.
Yeah, really, New York able to capitalize fairly well on 3 power jams, all of which were assessed by Debaucherous Prime, jammer for the Gatekeepers. Very uncharacteristic play by Debaucherous Prime, picking up those penalties. Usually a very clean jammer, so we'll have to see how that plays out in the second half, because not only does he have 3 now, but if he picks up any more, not only is he going to hurt on the scoreboard, but it could possibly take him out of the game.
Absolutely, and this game is too important to let those penalties affect how the team comes out in the end. This is the second semifinal game. Whoever wins this game does get to go up against Your Mom in the championship game coming up at 5 p.m. today.
That's right. Midge Mayhem wanted to know the score of that Mass Maelstrom Your Mom game, and the final was 173 Your Mom, 119 Mass Maelstrom. So as you said, Your Mom men's roller derby moves on to the championship, and the winner of this game here will go on to meet them. We may be seeing, if the Gatekeepers can hold on to this lead, an epic rematch of last year's national championship, in which the Gatekeepers lost by a single point on the last jam.
Absolutely, yeah. That is going to be, you definitely want to stick around. And I can't imagine that the Shock Exchange, should they take the win on this game, is going to give Your Mom any less trouble in a championship. And of course, we'll see both of these teams play at least one more time today, because whoever does not win this game will move on to the third, fourth place game and still be eligible to take home the bronze medal for the 2013 MRDA champs.
That's right. That game will be at 2:30. They will play Mass Maelstrom. So whoever loses this game will go on to play Mass Maelstrom at 2:30. However, at 12:30, Puget Sound, immediately following this game, Puget Sound will play Bridgetown Menace for 5th place.
We're going to get back into the action here shortly. I see the head ref out on the track talking with Nat King Kill, and maybe just updating everybody on a couple of things here before we get started, because now I see him skating over to the Shock Exchange bench. He's going to skate over to the Gatekeepers bench. He's actually been really good about that. If he goes out and says something to one party, he makes sure he covers his bases on all 3 parties, so there's no misunderstandings.
Oh, it looks like they're actually talking about diving. I saw Ogre make a motion like somebody
was
flopping.
Was it like the hand going up thing?
It was the hand going down.
If you watch, well, maybe that was Sunset, because if you watched Star Trek Voyager, if you raised your hand up, it was when Gappo Father and Chipotle. Chakotay told us that was, like the rising sun. Yes. Good morning. So perhaps he was saying good night to everybody.
Big nerds here at the announcer's table.
Except for I don't know the name of the first officer of the Voyager. It's because I'm starting to get hungry.
Oh. Do you need a Snickers? You're going to be here for a while? Snickers not an official sponsor of the 2013 MRDA Championships.
I see. I'm not sure what exactly the delay is, but Magnum PIMP has decided he's going to take a knee and relax for a minute as we get things started. I do see some of the track people out there maybe doing some floor repair, track repair type thing. The head ref is pressing on some plates.
Actually, I did see earlier there was a pirate roaming around with a treasure map. They may have found the exact spot. So they might start digging here shortly, so we may have a bit of a delay. Or maybe they're looking for Jimmy Hoffa. Who knows?
Possibly. There didn't appear to be anything on the floor, so maybe one of the tiles has come up or come loose, because I see him putting some tape down. That's in the yellow Dubs, working on putting some tape down. I'm not sure who's in the green there beside her. I recognize Dubs from the Sioux City Derby Dames.
All you need is some duct tape. Fixes everything. I think that's what they're employing right now.
That's what it looks like. I'm thinking one of those tiles over there must have come loose, or maybe chipped or something during the last half. So they just want to make sure everybody's safe.
A fine piece of engineering here by the staff as they fix the floor with some tape.
Hearing some whistles blow, I think that means we're going to get back into the action. Magnum PIMP number L7 in the black and green for the St. Louis Gatekeepers. And he's going to be up against number 6 in the white and black. That's Jonathan R. for the New York Shock Exchange. And Jonathan R. finds his way right through the middle of the pack, grabs lead jammer. Magnum PIMP right behind him, about 15 feet back, looking to catch him before he can hit that pack. Again, we're seeing the same thing we saw last time. Every time lead jammer goes to the Shock Exchange, the Gatekeepers blockers are going to take the front of the pack, and it's basically going to turn into a pace line race.
Yep, it's a race.
Jonathan R. almost making his way up to Abe Drinkin there. Shock Exchange at the back of the pack. So Jonathan R. keeping a watch over his shoulder for Magnum PIMP. Does not want to give up any points. He gets up. Did he get up far enough in? 0-0 on that jam. He had to call it off, though. Magnum was getting too close to the back of that pack.
Yeah, looking a little bit like the Tour de France out there. All of them in a single line drafting off of each other. I imagine there's less doping in Derby, though.
I don't know about that. I've seen a lot of 5-hour energy floating around here.
It's like cracking a can.
That's right. Debaucherous Prime, number 11 on the jam line. Going to face off against number 833F, Carnage Asada.
Oh, big hit there by Sammy Dangerfield on Debaucherous Prime. That's going to cycle him all the way back. Carnage Asada also dropping back. Nice work by the Saint there, sealing Bainana to the outside. So Debaucherous Prime's your lead jammer.
Debaucherous Prime quickly making his way around the track, and he is back into the pack for a scoring pass. Carnage Asada still struggling to find his way through that pack. He finally makes his way out of the pack around Inquadable Hulk, and now eligible to score.
Percy Control, meanwhile, picked up his 4th penalty, I believe. Actually, no, I'm sorry, that was his 3rd. So what we're looking at here, penalty-wise, not too bad for the Gatekeepers. They got 4 guys at 3. Now, New York, though, has Carl LeFou and Buster Cheaton both at 4, and then 2 others at 3. So you're going to have to watch that penalty situation here as the second half carries on.
So it's going to be number 32, Shane Bauer, versus number 241, Ladies Night, out there on the jam line. Whistle is blown, and it's Shane Bauer's trapped behind Malcolm Sex and number 10, Wolverine. And they hold him up good enough. Ladies Night able to get out, take lead jammer for the Shock Exchange. Shock Exchange looking to make movement on the scoreboard. Again,
and here we go.
Pack speeding up already.
Now the Gatekeeper's going to a 3-wall. Nat King Kill at the back.
Jam coming to an end just about the time that Shane Bauer is going to hit the back of the pack. No points for either team.
Nice work by 3-Day Bender there, going out and conferring with the outside pack ref, saying, hey, did he pass anybody? And he's like, nope. And he's like, okay, no points.
You know, I've seen that a lot during this tournament. A lot of people in the audience may think the outside pack refs don't do a job. They have a tough job, especially in men's derby. So much action happens on the outside. They are very important to the jammer refs and to the inside refs.
Very important cog of the machine.
And we're into the jam, and clear of the pack, Shock Exchange's jammer. That's number 6, Jonathan R. Clearing the pack, but right behind him, Batwing, almost going to overtake him. Lead jammer is Jonathan R., but Batwing is in front. So Batwing going to see how much he can run down here. Jonathan R. Gonna go ahead and keep skating with a points deficit. Might have been better to go ahead and call off the jam with the Shock Exchange blockers being at the back of the pack there.
Oh,
he ends up giving up 2 points.
And I'll tell you what, that could end up being a big 2 points.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt if at the end of this game their separation there is 2 points. Especially, like I said, being down, it might have been wiser to call off that jam and restart with the other jammer being ahead of you and your blockers being at the back of the pack. One thing I've noticed about the Gatekeepers blockers, they're so good about taking the front of the pack and either speeding up the pack or making sure the Shock Exchange stays behind them.
Well, you know, I don't know if it's so much as about the Gatekeepers being so good at taking the front of the pack, as New York doesn't seem to be interested in keeping it. They seem to be doing it with effortless ease.
Lots of falling happening in the pack as we're coming around turn number 3. Magnum PIMP gets out of the front of the pack, but does end up getting a cutting the track penalty. He's going to be going to sit in the notorious RED penalty box. Lead jammer going to Banana on skates, who is now back into the pack for his scoring pass. He goes through the middle of that wall, and no penalty called. That's going to be all 5 on the board for the Shock Exchange.
Yeah, you know, they were talking about it before the half, no flopping, and I guess the refs thought that was a flop.
And Banana calls off that jam, so he's going to close up the score gap a little bit. We're now at 72-79, and it's going to be a fresh jammer up for the power jam. However, timeout being called by the gatekeepers.
Yeah, Magnum was not happy with that track cut call. He was yelling at Specs to go out there. I think he might be challenging it, or at least wanting to talk about it. I mean, it was so close we couldn't really see it. Egon, oh boy.
I will tell you that I know that I see that sign from Egon, but I can tell you that the house announcers are getting the same stuff from the announcer ref as we are. So we'll update you on this stuff as soon as we know, if they tell us. You can actually see the announcer ref is the person standing in the ref circle that has no stripes on.
So Derby America out in Twitterland says the announcers are hilariously odd today, and that's probably due to a lack of sleep. At least on my part, anyway.
I would say lack of sleep, and this is going to be my 6th bout, and we're 8 bouts in. So.
Yeah, I did kind of work you like a dog yesterday, didn't I? Sorry about that.
That's all right. I love doing it. That's why I'm here. You know, that's why everybody's here. We love doing it.
You traveled all this way. You should work as many bouts as you can, right? Isn't that how it works?
Absolutely. Earlier I was talking with Double H on Twitter, and she was like, wow, 2 in a row. And I'm like, yes, all the bouts.
So we're back in action. Ladies' night, the lone jammer out there.
Ladies' night being held up by Percy Control, but not for long. Takes lead jammer for the Shock Exchange. Shock Exchange staying still. We're still inside the blocker box as Ladies' Night approaches for his first scoring pass. We've got a solid wall of gatekeepers. We see number 618 Bled Zeppelin drop off. We see Percy Control take the front and hold back the jammer for as long as he can. That's really what you got to do in a power jam situation. Just if you can't stop him completely, hold him back for as long as you possibly can. Ladies' Night again up for another scoring pass. The other blocker up there in that wall is number 24, Nat King Kill. We saw a lot from him yesterday and today as well. And it looks like number 618, Bled Zeppelin, headed off for a penalty as another 5 points go to the Shock Exchange. We've had a lead change, ladies and gentlemen. Magnum PIMP rejoins us on the track. You see the pack instantly go back into action. Magnum looking for a way out as Ladies' Night comes in for his next scoring pass. Ladies' Night struggling there. He kept his foot up and just kind of twirled right back in. So even though it's almost probably looked like a cut there, you could definitely tell that he stayed in. The refs didn't call anything. Yep. Ladies' Night still struggling, though, to get past. That's number 24, Nat King Kill again, and Percy Control at the front of the pack. But there's another 5 points on the board for Ladies' Night. You can see that pass wore him out.
And now, more importantly, we've seen a star pass as Magnum PIMP has handed the star off to Nat King Kill. Very nimble, fast skater for St. Louis.
And Nat King Kill able to clear that pack with pretty much ease, and now eligible to score as Ladies' Night coming back in for another pass. Magnum at the front of the pack holding him up. He's going to call off the jam. He does put 3 more points on the board for the Shock Exchange. So we have an 11-point game now, but it's the opposite direction.
Yeah, now in the favor of the Shock Exchange.
And now we're seeing Debaucher's Prime lineup. Jonathan R. Also up on the line. The gatekeepers taking the pivot line, so the pack all stretched out. And Prime knocking Jonathan R. to the outside, going to go all the way around the track because he's a jammer, and he can definitely do that. So he's trying to get the pack to do a negative pass for Jonathan R. Jonathan R. still not re-entered the track yet. He's going to come into the backside of the pack, so he is down one lap. So he's got to pass through the pack this time, and then it will be his initial pass. Debaucherous Prime through for his initial pass, so now eligible to score. Debaucherous Prime coming into the back of the pack, giving a little instruction to his blockers, and he is in. Having a struggle getting through in turn number 4 there. Couldn't make out who was blocking him there.
Yeah, that tactic did not end up working in Debaucherous Prime's favor, as Jonathan R. was still able to get around and get lead jammer.
So Jonathan R. through lead jammer, and he's through again, past the same with ease. He's going to call off the jam, putting 5 points on the board.
So I think they gave him 10 points.
Actually, I think that they forgot to take into account that he went negative 1 lap there. So I think that's why we see Specs out there calling a timeout. I think he's going to call an official review because
I don't think he should have been awarded that first 5 points because that was his initial pass.
Well, I kind of saw when he went through after his negative pass, the jam ref signaling not lead, and it was a little confusion. So perhaps this is the first time that jam ref has come across that negative pass situation. We'll see what happens, though. Maybe the 10 points will stand. Right now, the scoreboard shows 79-100. 20 minutes, 17 seconds remain on the clock.
All right, the first, the best, happy to fix the rest. SinCitySkates.com. Get all your great derby gear at SinCitySkates.com. Wicked Skatewear. Lots of teams use them for uniforms. I know you've seen the Wicked Skatewear logo all over the place today, and I'm sure you'll see it all over online now that you know about it. Make sure to check out wicked.com. Turn 2 Skate Shop. All the action is at Turn 2. Turn2skateshop.com. Get all your gear there. Get the bruised skate noose. I mean, come on. You don't want your roller skates to be all nasty and dank, and
you don't want your roller skates to smell like your knee pads.
Yeah, no, that's
unless
not
you're
good.
using Notorious RED gear deodorant, and then you do, because you'll smell nice and fresh.
This is true. So get the bruised skate noose. It's the over-the-shoulder roller skate holder. Let your skates breathe.
All right, score stands 79-100. We're back into it. Number 32, Shane Bauer jamming for the Gatekeepers, and it's number 833F, Carnage Asada at the front of the pack, looking to get around that last of the Gatekeepers blockers. He does. Lead jammer going again to the Shock Exchange. Shock Exchange really making a comeback in this second half.
Yeah, interesting momentum shift here with that situation. The Debaucherous Prime's play may have ended up kind of coming back to bite them.
4 more points going on the board for the Shock Exchange. That jam's going to come to an end. 104-79. We're going to line right back up. Shock Exchange already ready to go. Ladies' night up on the jam line and ready to get moving. Debaucherous Prime going to don the star for the Gatekeepers this time. Only 1 blocker in the pack for the Gatekeepers. It's going to be Percy Control, 3-wall for the Shock Exchange. Looks like Debaucherous Prime going to go ahead and play some defense against Ladies Night, but Ladies Night able to quickly get past him and just sail by Percy Control for lead jammer for the Shock Exchange. Ladies Night to the inside as the Shock Exchange blockers keeping Debaucherous Prime and Percy Control to the outside line. So 5 points on the board for Ladies Night. Debaucherous Prime came out. Ladies Night was aware that he's going to go ahead and call off the jam, and we'll reset again.
So interesting note, last year in this very same semifinal game, the St. Louis Gatekeepers took on the New York Shock Exchange. The Gatekeepers moved on by a score of 199 to 167. I think the score is going to be a little bit lower than it was that time, but a 33-point win the last time these two met in the championships and in this very game.
And, you know, based on how we've come back from the second half, if the gatekeepers continue to give up these penalties and lose their blockers, they're going to make it easy for the Shock Exchange to maintain the lead they've currently got. Jonathan R. fighting his way past the Saint, and one last blocker to go. That was Bled Zeppelin. He makes his way through. Lead Jammer going to the Shock Exchange. Still stuck in the pack. The Jammer for the gatekeepers, Magnum PIMP, trying to get around Abe Drinkin, but Abe just doing a really good job holding him inside that pack. 5 points go on the board for Jonathan R. Shock Exchange increasing their lead as Magnum PIMP finds his way outside of that, or out of the pack.
Yeah, Magnum PIMP having all sorts of problems with the New York defense right now. New York defense very solid as they stretch this lead now. Up 41 points.
17-20. Gatekeepers gaining another blocker as we line up for this jam. Hopefully that can make the difference for them here. They don't want to let it get out of control here as time continues to tick down. Of course, the Shock Exchange would love for them to let it continue to get out of control. They line up. Carnage Asada going to face off against Shane Bauer. Carnage Asada up at the front, continuing to push against that wall, pushing Percy Control, looking for that out of play to be called. Percy Control staying aware and delivering some shoulder hits, taking a hit from Carnage Asada. Unfortunately, it drives him to the back of the pack. Lead Jammer goes to Shane Bauer, who escapes during that little hit fest that was happening on the track there.
And now who's sitting at the front of the pack waiting for Carnage Asada again?
Percy
Control. Here we go again.
And it's like shoulder hit, and a high block being called on on Carnage Asada. That makes this a power jam. Shane Bowers goes ahead and calls it off so they can line him back up. Also losing T-Stop Tornado. Shock Exchange going to be down a blocker in the pack as well.
We're also going to need to watch Inquadable Hulk and Percy Control both sitting in the penalty box for the gatekeepers. Inquadable Hulk sitting at 6 penalties right now. One more, and he's going to take a long walk out of the building as he will be fouled out at that point. So keep a close eye on that. We'll see if he even plays much more after he gets out of the box here.
And gatekeepers putting Debaucherous Prime on the jam line. He's been one of the primary jammers, putting points on the board for him. So probably a wise move as they start this jam with a power jam. Lead Jammer going quickly to Debaucherous Prime. He is now coming back up on the pack and about to put some points on the board if he can get past Abe Drinkin, who doesn't want to let him, but he does with a nice spin. He was outside the engagement zone there, takes a little bit of a spill, but he's already got his points and he's able to keep going.
Great body control to keep himself in bounds.
Malcolm Sex waiting for him, hits him with the rear and takes him down, but he stays inbound, so able to stand right back up and go through. Wolverine holding him up there now, and Abe Drinkin, last line of defense, tries to take him out, but he's through. Another 5 points go on the board for the gatekeepers. Some much needed movement happening on the gatekeepers scoreboard at this point in time. The entire penalty box is standing right now, so as Debaucherous Prime comes back in to the pack, he notices that he's going to go ahead and call it off so he can get a power start for the next jammer, Magnum PIMP. Did pick up 4 additional points during that last pass, so it's going to put us at 94-120.
So if you liked what you've seen so far this weekend, well, you can buy all these games on DVD. You can contact info@cornstalkers.com or head over to the cornstalkers.com website. Single bouts $10, whole team bouts $25. The entire weekend, $50.
And you see the pack stretched out almost to its maximum. And Magnum PIMP quickly makes his way out of the pack and takes lead jammer. Carnage Asada now back at the front of the pack trying to get out as well, being held up by Bled Zeppelin. He finds his way through, now eligible to score. So Magnum going to come through, pick up his points, and signal to call off the jam. That ends the jam. 4 more points go on the board for the gatekeepers. They're going to do kind of what we saw them do at the beginning. The Shock Exchange picked up a bunch of points. Then slowly the gatekeepers chipped away at that lead, and then the gatekeepers took over. So maybe that was the plan all along.
Yeah, so what was just a second ago a 49-point lead is now cut to 22.
And I imagine they're going to continue to look for that to happen. Screech around number 66 on the jam line for the gatekeepers. Ladies night number 241 on the jam line for the Shock Exchange.
4-on-2 pack advantage, however, for the Shock Exchange.
Ladies Night way up at the front of the pack there. And once again, that was Percy Control looking to hold him up. Lead Jammer going to Ladies Night. And coming out of the pack there, Screech around, chasing him down. But Ladies Night going to see if he can hit that pack and put some points on the board. He's through, hits into Percy Control, who's done a really good job holding people back. 3 points going to be awarded for that last pass, holding the Gatekeepers to 0.
So with Incredible Hulk and penalty trouble, we're probably going to see a whole lot more Wrecking Bill out there as this game winds down. A dainty 2-on-2 pack. If dainty could ever be a word used to describe men's derby, this would be the time.
A dainty 2-on-2 pack. Bad wing jamming for the Gatekeepers. Jonathan R. quickly off the line. Comes into a little bit of trouble from Stark, but able to clear it out and takes lead jammer for the Shock Exchange. And Batwing finds his way out, looking to race around there. The Gatekeepers trying to speed up the pack. Stark looking to take out Jonathan R. Takes him to the outside, stays inbound. Jonathan R. with the lead is just going to go ahead and call it off because Batwing was too close for him to concern himself with recycling. He looking to see if there's any movement on the scoreboard. I haven't seen any fingers go up in the air yet for Shock Exchange. It looks like it's going to be
25 is going to be the difference, it looks like. Well, now one of the jam refs is headed over to the scorekeeper's box.
Timeout being called by Shock Exchange. I see a jammer ref talking to one of the scorekeepers, so I'm wondering if there's some communication missed between what happened there, because I can't really see from my angle, but there may have been some points earned before it was called off that weren't awarded. And yeah, there they are. I see him holding up his fingers over his head. Looked like 3.
Maybe they had already had him put. Maybe they already had him put up there.
No, there they go. I see some movement. There we are. 126.98. I was like, I don't think that. I thought they were at 123 when we started. So. And we are in a team timeout for white. You can see them huddled up. Shock Exchange, getting their head in the game, pumping it up a little bit. Yeah.
Gatekeepers pack lined up on the Ringster jammer line.
The Gatekeepers ready to get this going. They just started getting their momentum back there. Yep. Perhaps that was what the timeout was about. Let's stop that momentum, give them a little bit of cool down time.
Yep, Gatekeepers will have a 3-on-2 pack advantage here. And that will be 4-2 here shortly as the Saint stands in the penalty box.
And it's Ladies Night versus Debaucherous Prime on the Ringster jam line. And both very strong jammers in this game for their teams. Debaucherous Prime having some trouble getting around that 2-wall at the front there. Percy Control once again moving to the front of the pack as Ladies Night gets it up into the front of the pack. But he does clear. Percy Control takes lead jammer. Debaucherous Prime, meanwhile, still stuck behind Abe Drinkin there, taking a hit and going down to the inside. Gonna recycle. Ladies Night back in for a scoring pass.
This New York defense has been so tough, giving the Gatekeepers all sorts of problems, and now they are back to full strength in the pack. A very inopportune time for Debaucherous Prime.
Up at the front of the pack here, you see the Gatekeepers wall also doing a really good job holding up Ladies Night right now. Bled Zeppelin almost taking him out to the outside, and once again, it's Percy Control at the very front of the pack holding up Ladies Night. That's actually going to be a stop block call on Percy Control, so he's going to head off to the penalty box. Debaucherous Prime still stuck at the back of this pack. Malcolm Sex looking to take him out, and now Buster Cheaton. He almost finds the inside line, and he does. Actually makes his way all the way through, clear of the pack, and now eligible to score. So that jam going to come to an end. Ladies Night picking up a gaggle of points for the Shock Exchange, and now that both jammers were eligible, he's going to go ahead and call off that jam.
Yeah, the problem is the Gatekeepers again in penalty trouble as Bled Zeppelin goes over to join Percy Control in the penalty box. So it's going to be a 3-on-2 pack advantage in favor of New York here as Shane Bauer takes on, I believe, Jonathan R. there on the Ringster jammer line.
And you're right, that is Jonathan R. jamming. He's ready to go off the line, but takes a hit from number 24, Nad King Gill, and down. Shane Bauer able to hit the front of the pack quickly, makes his way around Sammy Dangerfield. Lead jammer going to the gatekeepers. Jonathan R. racing to chase down Shane Bauer. Shane coming into the pack, does a little turnaround, calls off the jam. Wise decision with the other jammer right there, but 0-0 for that last pass there.
Yep, 38 points separating these two squads. Just over 9 minutes to go here in the second half. New York leads 136-98.
Starting to see both teams get a little more serious out there on the track. Gatekeepers giving up a little more penalties here as that time starts to drop off. They need to get their head back in the game and stop giving up those penalties. You can see how it's affecting the scores. Magnum PIMP and Carnage Asada. Magnum taking a hit to the infield, recycled back as Carnage Asada at the front there makes his way out. Lead jammer going once again to the shock exchange. And Magnum PIMP comes out, and not lead jammer. He is moving those feet, trying to close that large gap between the two jammers. Does not want to let Carnage Asada hit the back of the pack and pick up any points. Percy Control rejoining us from the penalty box. Gets stuck behind that shock exchange wall, so he's going to go ahead and play some defense. Carnage Asada calls off the jam in time to keep Magnum from putting any points on the board, but unfortunately doesn't pick up any points for the shock exchange.
Yeah, but more importantly, another 30 seconds are going to come off that clock.
It's going to be Ladies Night versus Shane Bauer up on the Ringster Jammer line. Ringster also is the sponsor of the MVP trophies for the 2013 MRDA champs. Ladies Night coming off the line quickly, getting up to the pivot line where the Saint and Percy Control are waiting for him. Ladies Night able to spin around Percy Control to the inside and takes lead jammer for the shock exchange. Shane Bauer working to get around Baynana at the front of the pack there. Goes down and back behind Baynana, but he makes his way out, now eligible to score as well. Ladies Night into the pack, looking to put some more points on the board for the shock exchange, increase that lead. It's going to be Bled Zeppelin and Percy Control up at the front there, looking to keep him back. He's going to go ahead and shut down that jam. 3 points on the board for the shock exchange. No points for the gatekeepers.
And another 30 seconds off that clock unless we get a timeout here.
That's it. St. Louis with only one timeout and one official review left, though. And I think they're going to wait to manage that. Hopefully they can make the movement they need to have happen. But I think the shock exchange is perfectly happy with that. And letting these 30 seconds dwindle away is good news for him. Jonathan R. back out on the jam line. Screech around showing up on the jam line again, quickly jumping to the outside and taking the lead jammer for the gatekeepers. The first time in a few jams for the gatekeepers taking lead jammer.
Tell you what, Screech around has been a great change of pace this weekend. He's really gotten the team going every time he's been out there. And there we see a grand slam for Screech around and the gatekeepers.
Jonathan R. finally clearing the pack now, so Screech around going to have a chance to put at least a few more points on the board as he comes into the back of the pack. Very good awareness there. He saw Jonathan R. approaching the pack, signals to call off. He does manage to put, it looks like 3 points. 3 points on the board there. I see the thumb on the side as she turned her hand there. So 3 more points going on the board there. So closing that gap again with a 33-point difference between the teams. 5:44 left. It still could go the way of the gatekeepers.
You got to wonder, though, is there enough time on there for the gatekeepers to stay patient? Or are they going to have to require a mistake on New York's part?
And you can continue to see the shock exchange fielding these really tough walls that they've had. Magnum PIMP not going to let it affect him. He's going to grab lead jammer for the gatekeepers. Carnage Asada being held to the back of the pack there. Still on his initial passes. Magnum PIMP coming through, looking to put more points on the board for the gatekeepers. Big hit from Jeffery. I want to make sure I said that right there. But Magnum PIMP able to take it and stay up and get on through for another 5 points for the gatekeepers. Carnage Asada now free and eligible to score. Magnum PIMP going to go ahead and signal to call off the jam. He does put 4 more points on the board. This game is getting ever closer as the clock gets ever closer to 0. 1:15, 1:39. That's, if I do my math correctly, it's 19 points separating the two teams?
No.
15 to 30 is 15.
So it's 24 points. 24 points separate the two.
Okay.
Again, announcers not good at math.
Nope. They don't pay me. I don't need to know math. Number 68, Batwing, off the jam line quickly.
Oh, boy.
Oh, and it turns into a power jam as the jammer for the Shock Exchange is going to get a high block call. That's Ladies' Night headed off to the penalty box. This is not what Shock Exchange wants to happen right now.
This is just the mistake the gatekeepers needed, and also the situation, the blockers they've got out there. This could not have been a better situation.
However, the gatekeepers' defense continues to dwindle away too, and that's not going to help Batwing put points on the board. You need your blockers out there to help clear a path sometimes.
However, 2 gatekeepers blockers are standing in the penalty box. The Saint now rejoining play. Percy Control also rejoining. So going to get some bolstered help here for Batwing. This could be huge.
And Batwing out. Another 5 points on the board. The crowd is going crazy. I'm going to guess those are the fans for the gatekeepers in the audience cheering that on, because now we're down to a 9-point game. 130, 139.
And the New York Jammer is still sitting, so there's still plenty of time on this power jam as they put Shane Bauer out on the line. And that can kill the lone defender for St. Louis in the penalty box. It's going to be a 3-on-2 pack advantage.
That's it. The notorious RED penalty box has definitely seen a lot of action during this this second half of the bout. Shane Bauer off. Malcolm Sex holding him up at the front of the pack there, and now it's Abe Drinkin. Last line of defense. He's out. Lead jammer goes to the gatekeepers.
So we could very well see a lead change here, folks.
That is definitely what Shane Bowers and the gatekeepers want. Shock Exchange's jammer is standing up. Ladies' Night will be returning to the pack here soon. There's the first scoring pass, almost. Abe Drinkin still holding back Shane Bowers. Shane not giving up there. He's through. That's going to put 5 on the board. And Ladies' Night still on his initial scoring pass. So Shane Bowers could get through there, potentially put another 5 points on the board. Ladies' Night's out, so that's out of the engagement zone. 4 more points. We could have a tie game at the end of this jam. Shane Bowers is going to go ahead and call it off as Ladies' Night approaches the pack really close. 2 more points on the board for the gatekeepers. 137, 139, a 2-point game with a minute 50 on the clock.
Yep.
The clock has stopped.
Yep. The St. Louis has used their final timeout.
The audience was standing at the end of that jam. I do believe this next minute and 50 seconds will be some of the most enjoyable derby of this entire bout.
To use the old monster truck cliche, you may pay for the whole seat, but you'll only use the edge.
Well, luckily at home you didn't have to pay for the whole seat. But
right.
You know what? If you get the chance, I got to tell you guys, it's so much different being here, feeling the energy and stuff. So if you ever get the chance and you're like, should I just stay home and watch it on the stream or should I go see it? Definitely go see it. It's so much better live.
When that jam ended and the crowd just went wild, it was just a wave of energy flowed over us, and I actually got a little bit of goosebumps from it. It's so amazing. This crowd is absolutely electric. Now, while the gatekeepers are down 2 points, they're also down 2 blockers here, so a bad situation to find themselves in, even though they are now only down 2 points. This is 4-on-2 pack advantage for New York.
It is definitely going to be interesting to see how this goes. That was actually a timeout charge to New York, so everybody knows St. Louis does still have a timeout and an official review, and so does New York. As we continue on here, Jonathan R. jamming for the Shock Exchange, quickly out of the pack, taking lead jammer, and gatekeepers losing Percy Control to the penalty box for an elbows call, I believe. Magnum PIMP still stuck in the pack, trying to fight his way through.
I got a feeling this is going to end the game. I got a feeling Jonathan R. is going to run that timeout. He's got the cushion on points and laps.
That's it. As long as he doesn't get forced cut or anything like that, this is just going to be New York dwindling down the clock. He's going to go ahead and continue to put points on the board, though, for New York. increasing that lead. Magnum PIMP still struggling with those blockers at the back of the pack. Seeing a lot of big, heavy hits and penalties happening here in this last minute or so. Jonathan R. with another 5 points on the board. Magnum PIMP putting 4 points on the board. But as you said, they've got the cushion, so as long as he's matching at least point for point, we're good to go.
Yeah, New York is wisely going to go ahead and run this clock out. So unless the Gatekeepers can draw a penalty on Jonathan R., it's going to be New York facing off against Des Moines and here in the finals.
Magnum PIMP through, puts another 4 points on the board. Not going to be enough to close the score gap yet. He'd still need another 8 to tie. Jonathan R. puts another 4 on the board, so now that's even more that it would have to be taken by the Gatekeepers in order to take the win here. As the period clock continues to tick down, there's 0. Jonathan R. sees he's going to call it off. He is a very happy jammer out there. 4 more points go on the board for the Shock Exchange. Now, this is the unofficial final score, 161-149. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some score checking before we make it an official final.
Yeah, I think that Gatekeeper score is probably going to go up a little bit here, but not enough to make a difference. I do think there will probably be a bonfire out in the parking lot here shortly as the Gatekeepers may burn those black unis.
It looks like Shock Exchange already going to go ahead and take their victory lap. There's probably not enough points hidden somewhere in there that is going to make that difference. So congratulations to the Shock Exchange taking that win. Going to move on to the final bout of the day, the championship bout between your mom and the New York Shock Exchange.
Yep, so now the Gatekeepers will take on Mass Maelstrom in a third place game. So a wild one here, just as we expected, between New York and St. Louis. New York able to eke out the win. I don't know what to say. I mean, it was a bang-up bout.
It was an amazing bout. And you know what? I think it's as we continue through this day, we're going to continue to see amazing bouts. I mean, these close scoring bouts. All these teams are so talented that are playing today for us. There is no question that you're going to see excellent derby. Thank you so much for joining us here on WFTDA.tv. You're watching the 2013 MRDA Championships. I'm Bangers and Smash.
And I'm Star Spangled Hammer.
I didn't want to mispronounce your name again. We'll see you later.
Have a good one.
This is the Texas Roll-'em.
Bet goes to you.
They told us to just sell skates online. You won't have any overhead. Put some skulls in your advertising. You'll make a mint. That was never our plan. Our plan was to make a store where all day we are fitting skaters, fixing skates, teaching customers, and putting the best gear on their bodies. Before we put 3 W's in front of our name, we made sure we had hundreds of happy customers come through our doors. We're not just Derby owned, we're Derby dedicated. Fast Girl Skates.
Hi, I'm Trish the Dish, and this is Ivana Spankin, and we're here to tell you about Sin City Skates. Sin City Skates began in our Las Vegas living room in 2005, the first shop ever dedicated to roller derby, and has since grown into this 2,000 square foot mecca in San Diego, where we stock everything for our sport. Need help? With a combined on-track experience of over 24 years and still playing, we test everything we sell, and we're happy to share that experience and knowledge with you. So contact us, sincitiskates.com.